Yeah.
Could I ask you a question? You asked me about meat eating and masculinity. Do you think there's a connection between eating or abstaining from eggs and dairy as a form of feminism and femininity? Because ultimately, the animals which get abused for dairy and eggs are females. They're the ones that get their reproductive cycles exploited. Have you ever thought about that connection before?
Yeah, I feel like from the research I've done on it, femininity is surrounded with vegan, like more women are vegan because they're like sort of seen as being closer to nature. I mean, I was just wondering like what your experience is as a man. I'm guessing you're vegan.
Yeah.
Like, do you suffer any backlash from like other men? Like, has your masculinity ever been like sort of hypocrite,
like
criticized?
Yeah.
Not directly criticized by like other men about like my masculinity. There is the trope about being like a soy boy and being like weak and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just find that funny because I was weaker when I was a meat eater.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm actually like, although I'm not strong in any way, I'm stronger than I was when I was a meat eater. And I've met many meat eaters that are weaker than me. But yeah, I think it's just really funny that masculinity is so tied in with meat eating.
Yeah, it's really. That's why we're doing a presentation on it, because it's like there's so much to it and so many different. I don't know. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic, and I think it's perpetuated by animal agricultural like industries because they obviously want people to continue eating meat, so they'll lie about the animals being happy, and they'll lie about us needing it for calcium or protein, all these things. Like to get strong, you need animal protein.
That's
it's just not the case.
It's like, well, if I want to work out and like, be healthy, it's like, well, I need protein. And people say you can't get it from like plant-based diets, but you can.
Yeah, that's what my boyfriend's like. He's very like gym, lad culture, and I've had like debates with him about this, and he's like, it's just easy to get protein, have a high protein diet with like meat, and it's more accessible. But yeah, what are your views on that as well? Like it being less accessible as a vegan, and more expensive as well. People argue.
Yeah, a lot of people's points are like about it being more expensive.
Well, yeah, like it's been proven if you're eating less processed food, it's actually cheaper to be plant-based. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's also like quite a big, echo chamber. And so like men will hear other men talking about the need for animal meat, so that kind of reinforces their beliefs, and they are very closed off to hearing that they don't need to because they feel threatened in some way. I think it is tied in as well just because people don't like change. So like AMAB or AFAB people will push back because they don't want to change their kind of practices or recognize that maybe they have been doing something which isn't ethical for so long.
Because that question on the front saying, what did it say, that is animal abuse justified? Because like obviously not. Like during people were like, oh, I love animals, and like I'm not vegan, I'm just vegetarian, but still I would say to people like, would you eat like your pet dog? And it's like, I don't know, it's like, I know that's a weird point, but it's like if you would happily eat a cow, it's an animal, they're all animals. Like if you would be sad seeing your pet harmed or killed for food, then I don't understand how people can't feel the same way about other animals, personally.
Exactly.
I know everyone has different
like,
reasons. But
someone might say like, oh, it's different because a dog's a pet, a cow isn't a pet, or a chicken's not a pet. But I have a friend who has pet chickens.
Yeah, in other cultures as well. Like,
it's about the relationship, isn't it?
So I understand why people be like, but it's different because I don't have a pet cow. But if you're just looking at it on the point of it's an animal, then personally I don't think it's justified. Yeah,
it's like the ability to suffer that matters, and if it has that ability, then it could be considered a victim, and if it could be considered a victim, maybe you shouldn't be victimizing someone unnecessarily. So are you guys both vegan?
I'm vegetarian, but I really want to eat less dairy. Like I already have like a lot of dairy-free things, like butter, soy milk.
My main thing, I know everyone says it is cheese.
Other
than that, like I mainly eat plant-based, I'd say. Yeah.
Could I ask you a question? You asked me about meat eating and masculinity. Do you think there's a connection between eating or abstaining from eggs and dairy as a form of feminism and femininity? Because ultimately, the animals which get abused for dairy and eggs are females. They're the ones that get their reproductive cycles exploited. Have you ever thought about that connection before?
Yeah, I feel like from the research I've done on it, femininity is surrounded with vegan, like more women are vegan, because they're like sort of seen as being closer to nature, like even through like
maybe more like nurturing and caring.
More caring, like that's why more women are vegan and think about that. And I would say like from my perspective, the same, like I care about animals and their welfare, and like, I just feel like my boyfriend doesn't, and I don't know. Do you know what I mean though? Like,
I think maybe males can be a bit more stubborn and less
like,
open-minded.
I like meat anyway, so why would I stop eating it? It's like, I don't know, it's just like
yeah.
thought about it.
Yeah, do you think maybe going vegan could be considered an act of feminism?
Yeah, I think it. I can't really think of say in more detail, but I haven't actually like looked through the article yet, but I've got one up and it's like, I kind of want to check it because I feel like I can't.
Yeah, go for it and carry on the conversation.
I feel like it is an act of feminism.
Yeah. So like feminism's about giving rights and autonomy to females, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that doesn't just apply to humans, it should also extend to other animals, I'd say.
Yeah. I agree, because that's like the main thing with dairy is I'm putting this cow through just an awful, like obviously I know the whole procedure with dairy and how that's made, and I'm putting a poor little innocent, and like it's just a cycle, isn't it? And if I can not contribute to that, and I don't know, I don't really know where I'm going with that, but that's where my thoughts, and that's why recently I'm like I really want to eat more vegan food and like just gradually implement it in my diet as well, because for me I can't like justify putting an animal through that process as well. But
it might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but that individual act has a direct directly reduces the suffering which is being caused. So even if it's like a drop in the ocean, that's still a drop which you don't have to add. You don't have to cause that harm to that animal.
Yeah.
And you can, there's a thing called it's like vegancalculator.com or something like that, where you can actually put in how long you've been vegan, and it will show you how many animals you haven't exploited and how many lives you've saved. And also, like when you're buying dairy eggs, even though you're not paying for the meat of the animal, you're still supporting the industry which is killing it and exploiting it. Did you have the?
It was just saying how. It was like a book called Women, Meat and Media, and it's like the sexual politics of meat. And it was just saying how, where was it? Yeah, the main idea of the book is like vegetarianism as an act of rebellion against the oppression in society, which I was thinking about what you were saying about it linking to be feminist. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but it sounds quite interesting.
I'd say like vegetarianism is a really good, important step, but don't stop there, because ultimately, you can eat more plant-based food, but like plant-based and veganism are different. Veganism is it's a philosophy about reducing harm. And if you feel like if that's why you went vegetarian, like there's no reason to stop at vegetarian, because like just extend that to those dairy cows and those chickens which are exploited.
I feel like the biggest backlash that I face is opinions from other people, and like how, like when I go to and my boyfriends or something, I know I keep talking about him, like, but it's more difficult for his family because like none of them all of them eat meat, sorry. So when I'm the only one that's vegetarian, it's like, I don't know, I almost get like, you can get your own veggie stuff, and like you can, and I feel like if I was vegan, it'd be like, oh well, what can you eat and stuff.
Yeah, people
and
always
it's just like opinions from other people.
There is that reaction, but every family is going to have that first person that goes vegan or vegetarian that goes vegan, and then. But it's just about breaking down that stigma, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like it's through education and showing that actually, look, this is the plant-based food that I'm eating. It actually is way better than that animal-based food. You don't need to be eating that.
I went vegetarian for 18 years. She still basically is now, but she eats a bit of meat sometimes. But she said that actually helped her cook and learn to cook and experiment. She was like,
more creative.
The best food. She learned, and she's such a good cook. And she was like, I learned through cutting out meat because you just experiment, get creative with your meals.
What do you suggest moving forward for people to sort of get more involved with being vegan?
Well, I say like education is really important. So watch documentaries. Like if like dairy and cheese is a hang-up, watch Cowspiracy, because that talks specifically about the dairy industry. But Cowspiracy talks about the dairy industry and like what happens to dairy cows. And I think it's so important to not only hear what happens, but to see what happens and break the disconnection between dairy or cheese being the separate thing from the animal abuse, and like linking it, and then you actually, instead of seeing cheese, you see an animal suffering, and it won't have that same appeal. And I keep like looking up like resources which help going vegan and plant-based. So one I'm recommending is Challenge 22.
Challenge 22.
Yeah, and that gives you whole foods plant-based meal prep. And the idea is it takes 22 days to change a habit, or 21 days to change a habit. So they give you 22 days worth of meals, and they also give you like free nutritionists to like help you along with the journey.
Oh, that's cool.
But so like check those two links out. But yeah, so Challenge 22 and Cowspiracy, I think are really good. But just generally documentaries and are really good.
Just in general, what do you recommend any vegan cheeses? Because I've just never like found one that I have tried them, and each time I'm like, okay, they haven't got that yet.
Yeah,
I don't know
try lots of different ones. I generally buy the cheap ones because I'm a student.
Yeah, well,
but
because they're quite expensive, aren't they?
I know there's some. I got a friend who buys some online. I'm blanking now, but you can like if you look online, there's loads of really good, plant-based cheeses. But it's just about trying different ones because everyone's taste buds are different. But like you will find one that works.
That was like a coconut oil-based halloumi in it. Don't recommend that.
Yeah, try different ones. But also like none will taste exactly like cheese. But it's the same with meat. But that small difference in taste is less significant than the abuse that you're not causing, I'd say. So like your taste buds again, they will adapt, they will change, and you will soon forget what dairy abuse cheese tasted like, and you'll just get used to vegan cheese.
People always go, oh, how can you not miss having meat? I can't even really remember it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so long, I'm not like, I don't miss it because I can't really remember what it tastes like.
The same will happen with cheese.
Yeah.
Honestly, like for me it was eggs. I was so stuck on eggs.
Yeah.
And then it was just like a overnight decision of I don't want to enjoy eggs if it comes at the cost of the animal. Sorry, in view of the camera. So like ultimately I think we have to ask ourselves that question. Is the pleasure we're getting more important than the life of the animal? And almost all the time it's no.
Yeah.
And like it sounds like you guys probably answer no to that question.
Yeah, we'd say no to that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and like I say, as an act of feminism, don't contribute to the exploitation of dairy cows or egg-laying hens as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for that conversation. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified when videos go up every Thursday. If you want to watch another conversation, here are a couple of options. And if you want to support my activism, there's a link in my profile to a page where you can buy me a coffee and donate money to an animal sanctuary. Thanks. Amber.